When you hear the term seceding from the Union, you probably think about America or America's South or America's Civil War, but today's video is about a potential secession from the Union in Australia. Westralia was the place that they wanted to call it. It was Western Australia. Western Australia could have been an independent country, but it's not. It's still part of Australia today. In the early 1900s, a bloke named James Mcullum-Smith tried to make Westralia a thing, and he was a pioneer in that stage of the world and stage of the country in its development, and he was a very influential person, so it very easily could have happened. I've written a script about the video, or about the experience. I've written a script for this video, and the rest of the video is going to be me reading that script with a bunch of Australiana pictures coming up. If you have YouTube Premium, you should probably go fold your laundry or something like that. Do something productive while you listen. If you don't have YouTube Premium, that's fine. Just enjoy the Australian landscapes while we're here. But yeah, this is James Mcullum-Smith. This is seceding from the Union. This is a story about when Australia nearly wasn't Australia. James Mcullum-Smith was a prominent figure in Western Australian history, known for his passionate advocacy for the secession of Western Australia from the Commonwealth of Australia, a movement he termed the Westralia movement. His campaign for an independent Westralia, although ultimately unsuccessful, highlights significant political, economic and cultural aspirations of the region during the early 20th century. This video delves into Mcullum-Smith's life, his contributions to society, his motivations for creating Westralia, and the actions he took in pursuit of this vision, as well as the reasons for the campaign's failure. James Mcullum-Smith was born on April 12, 1868, in the small town of Greenock, which is in Scotland. His early life was marked by a strong emphasis on education and on a spirit of adventure, which eventually led him to migrate to Australia. After arriving in Western Australia in the late 19th century, Mcullum-Smith quickly established himself as a notable figure in the burgeoning community. He worked in various capacities for the newspaper in town, including as a journalist and editor, and that would eventually lay the foundation for his political career as well. Mcullum-Smith's professional achievements were numerous and varied. He played a significant role in the development of the Western Australian press, most notably as the editor and proprietor of the Sunday Times, as I mentioned earlier. Under his leadership, the newspaper became a powerful platform for advocating for social and political change, including the secession movement, conveniently enough for him. In addition to his work in journalism, Mcullum-Smith was a dedicated politician. He served as a member of the Western Australian Legislative Assembly, where he championed various causes aimed at improving the economic and social well-being of Western Australians. His political career was characterised by a strong commitment to regional development and self-sufficiency, themes that would later underpin his campaign for Westralia. In short, Mcullum-Smith was a strong advocate for the expansion and support of agriculture in Western Australia. He pushed for policies that would aid farmers, including better access to land and resources, improved agricultural techniques, and support for rural communities. He also supported the development of essential infrastructure, such as roads and railways, to enhance connectivity within the state. This was crucial for improving trade and communication between different regions, thus fostering economic growth on the whole. Mcullum-Smith championed improvements in the education sector too. He believed in the importance of accessible and high-quality education for all, advocating for his increased funding for schools, better training for teachers, and the expansion of educational facilities. He supported initiatives aimed at improving social welfare, including better healthcare services and support for the elderly and disadvantaged. Mcullum-Smith recognised the need for a safety net for the most vulnerable members of society, and he worked towards policies that would provide them with the necessary support. Mcullum-Smith was a proponent of workers' rights and better labour conditions too. He backed legislation aimed at improving working conditions, ensuring fair wages, and providing protections for workers. This included support for labour unions and collective bargaining rights, which was rare not just for politicians, but also newspaper elites at the time. Mcullum-Smith advocated for the expansion of public health services, recognising the importance of accessible healthcare for all citizens. He supported initiatives to build more hospitals and more clinics, improve medical training, ensure that even remote areas had access to healthcare services, and more. He was involved in campaigns to improve sanitation and prevent the spread of diseases, which were critical in public health issues at the time. This included support for clean water initiatives and public health education campaigns, amongst other things. The origins of the Westralia movement can be traced back to long-standing grievances among Western Australians regarding economic disparity and a perception of neglect by the federal government. The term Westralia encapsulated a vision for an independent and prosperous Western Australia, free from the constraints imposed by the Commonwealth, which they mostly saw as an East Coast institution. Mcullum-Smith envisioned Westralia as a self-governing entity with the ability to fully harness its natural resources and economic potential. And if you know anything about the minerals in the area now and the mining profits we get from there as a country like today in 2024, I mean, he wasn't wrong. They absolutely would have been fine economically. The rest of Australia needs WA way more than WA needs us from a dollars and cents perspective, but I'm getting away from myself there. This vision was not unique to Western Australia. Similar secessionist sentiments had emerged in other parts of the world, reflecting broader trends of regionalism and localism, as well as isolationist policies, depending on your perspective. This was the 1910s through 1940s, after all. World War I and II would come and go while he waged this campaign for Westralia. However, Mcullum-Smith's campaign was distinguished by a passionate advocacy and the detailed economic rationale he presented for secession. The mines made a significant difference to the whinging, in short. The campaign for Westralia involved a series of strategic actions and initiatives aimed at garnering public and political support for the secession movement. Mcullum-Smith utilised his platform at the Sunday Times to disseminate his ideas and rally support. Think if Lachlan Murdoch was a good bloke and wanted Queensland to become an independent nation or something. Roughly the same thing in terms of soft power anyway. And if you don't know who Lachlan Murdoch is, I suggest you keep up with the Times. He's Rupert's son, and he's the one actually in charge of all the papers these days. But I'm getting distracted again. Unlike the Murdochs, our guy Mcullum-Smith also engaged in extensive public speaking tours and organised petitions to demonstrate widespread backing for his cause. Political reactions to the Westralia campaign were mixed. While some regional leaders and business figures supported the idea, viewing it as a means to unlock Western Australia's economic potential, others were sceptical or outright opposed, fearing the legal and political complications of secession. The campaign also attracted significant media attention, both positive and negative, which played a crucial role in shaping public opinion. Mcullum-Smith's motivations for pursuing Westralia were multifaceted. Economically, he believed that Western Australia was being shortchanged in terms of federal funding and investment, which hindered the region's development. Politically, he argued that Western Australia had unique needs and priorities that were often overlooked by the central government all the way over there in Canberra. Culturally and socially, Mcullum-Smith saw Westralia as a way to foster a distinct Western Australian identity separate from the broader Australian bushman narrative. He envisioned a society that celebrated its unique heritage and leveraged its geographic advantages to build a prosperous and self-sufficient community. Despite the passionate advocacy, the campaign for Westralia faced significant challenges and obstacles. Internal opposition came from political figures who were committed to the idea of a unified Australia, as well as from segments of the public who were wary of the potential risks of secession. Externally, the federal government and other states were strongly opposed to the idea, citing legal and constitutional issues. And public perception was another major hurdle. While there was some support for the idea, many Western Australians were sceptical about the feasibility and the benefits of the plan. The media played a crucial role in shaping this perception, with some outlets supporting Mcullum-Smith's vision and others criticising it as impractical and divisive. Several critical turning points led to the eventual failure of the Westralia campaign. One of the main setbacks was the lack of cohesive support among key political and business leaders, which undermined the movement's credibility. Additionally, legal challenges and the threat of federal intervention made it difficult to advance the secession agenda. An analysis of the campaign's failure reveals a combination of strategic missteps, insufficient public support, and formidable opposition from the federal government. Despite these setbacks, the campaign had a lasting impact on Western Australian politics, highlighting the region's unique needs and aspirations, and influencing subsequent debates about federalism and regionalism in Australia. James Mcullum-Smith's legacy is a testament to his unwavering commitment to Western Australia and his visionary ideas. Although his campaign for Westralia did not succeed, it left a lasting impression on the state's political landscape. His efforts underscored the importance of regional and rural representation, as well as the need for equitable economic development. Reflecting on Mcullum-Smith's vision and his efforts provides valuable insights into the challenges and opportunities of any regional movement. His ideas continue to resonate in contemporary discussions about federalism, regional autonomy, and the balance between central and local governance. James Mcullum-Smith's campaign for Westralia represents a significant chapter in Western Australian history and Australian history on the whole. His vision for an independent and prosperous Western Australia, driven by economic, political and cultural motivations, showcased the aspirations of a region seeking greater autonomy and recognition. While the campaign ultimately failed, it highlighted important issues and set the stage for ongoing debates about regionalism and federalism in Australia, as I've said. Mcullum-Smith's contributions to society, both as a journalist and a politician, continue to be remembered and celebrated, marking him as a key figure in the story of Western Australia's development and Australia's. And that concludes another script written this morning. Thanks so much if you're still here watching me, guys. The financial supporters of the channel are on screen now, so check the links in the description for ways to join them in my Patreon or membership on YouTube or affiliates or whatever, you know how it works. As little as $1 per month gets your name on that screen, and with the economy of scale, it all adds up and combines with the ad revenue or affiliate marketing to make this my only job. I'm a single dad with special needs kids, and this work is arduous from a time taken perspective, but it isn't hard. It's something I can do while raising my kids, and I'm incredibly grateful you guys helped to make that happen. So in short, if you want, please give me some of your money. But don't stress if you haven't got any to give. If you're still listening to this at this point, you've probably seen 4 ads anyway. Thanks, guys. And so that was the video. One more time, guys, just reminding you, hit that like button for me. It's free wherever it is, over there, over there, over there. It's free for you to do so, and it really, really helps me in the algorithm. Leave a comment. Did you like this video? What do you want me to look into moving forward? I've got a real good, groove on at the minute, writing scripts in the morning before my kids get up, and I'd love to write some more and learn some more as I go. So if you've got a favourite moment in Australian history, let me know in the comments section. I might do a video on it. But failing all of that, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you when I look at you, and you will see me when you look at me.